Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome to the new update for Minecraft 1.9. Today we're going to be covering the features in Snapshots 15W, 36, A, B, and C, including our weekly dose of controversial changes to core game mechanics. But on top of that, Minecraft just got a lot more difficult. It is much tougher to survive in 1.9, and I'll talk about why in just a second. First off, a quick little visual change and update. If you watched the other 1.9 snapshots, you might have seen if you're holding an item in your left hand and you're using a skin with the Alex model with the slimmer arms, it put it right on the outside of your arm like it was glued to the back of your hand for whatever reason. It is now fixed and properly snug in that little nub, so it looks just right. Now, the first big controversial change is actually a reversion to an older feature in the game. If you've been playing Minecraft for a while, you probably remember this. Entities now can push each other once again. Everything except for items, armor stands, and experience orbs can once again push each other, and that includes players. And this was removed a while back, I think mostly because you could just troll players, especially those that were AFK, by pushing them off a cliff or into a trap or something, like I just did with that sheep. Now he's stuck in the water. So yeah, everything can now push everything else again, and it's very strange to get used to. Now, I don't know for sure why they added this back into the game. It's mostly anyone's guess. I think it probably has to do, though, with shield mechanics, and I can show you guys why I think that here. So if you're blocking with a shield, in melee combat, you now actually knock back anything that hits you. Most of the time, it has like a % chance of doing that. But the other big thing with shields is now that you can use that to block arrows and block different hits to absorb some damage, it seems like combat is going to be quite a bit more dynamic, trying to maneuver around someone, and without having players push into each other and kind of bounce off of the other person, you could have someone just kind of run in, jump through you, and hit you from behind without you being able to shield at all. So I think that is probably why they changed it, and also just having a bit of weight. If you are going to knock back entities, it makes sense to have you have a bit of push yourself. So I think that's probably why they changed it, but we'll see. It might get reverted again. Now, if you don't like this change, if you're not a fan of the older version of being able to push people off cliffs, there are some ways that you can get rid of this. Now, there's a scoreboard feature called Collision Rule, and you can see there's a few different options. You can do always, push own team, never, or push other teams. And if you set this, you can change whether you're able to push things or not. And this is a very quick 4-command or 3-command way. If you want to have your entire server or world just not able to push anything else, then do this. So set a team and call it something like team no push, and then add this collision rule and put never on there, like so. And then the last step is you can just add everybody at A to this team, have everyone join the team. And if I turn this on, you'll see I'm just going to go into the sheep, and we're not actually going to collide at all. So there you go. You don't collide with things anymore. Now, the reason you can just also leave the team if you don't want this to be in effect anymore. So the reason this isn't just an option normally in the game, Dinnerbone actually came out and said a lot of people have been asking for different options like the attack strength meter and things like that to just be optional instead of a full mechanic for everybody. And he said for every feature we'd make an option, we exponentially create much more developing and testing every option with and against every other option. So they're trying to make a more cohesive version of the game, and not have to test all these things against each other. But they are adding ways in, if you don't like these, like that collision rule, that you can turn them off. So that's nice. But we'll see about this one. Now, another thing that changed a little bit because of this is fishing rods. You can now hook onto entities pretty easily and pull them in if you get lucky. There you go. Now, the farther you are away from it, the farther it pulls it, but it seems to be kind of a random chance whether it'll actually pull it or not. It doesn't seem to always work. There you go. Got that sheep. But yeah, if you're farther away from something, you can pull it farther, and you can even hit monsters. And like this Enderman, I can just kind of launch him towards me a bit. It's strange, and I think a few different servers with plugins and stuff have already done this before to make grappling hooks and things, but it's nice that we have this, and it also doesn't hurt the mobs or knock them back when you hook them with the bobber, so that's nice as well. Now, speaking of mobs and changes, the Enderman had a few big changes to him, but all mobs actually have their AI improved, where if you hit them, it won't reset their AI, and then also hostile mobs can draw a line of sight through blocks again. This used to be something that only spiders were able to do, see through full blocks. But if I was to jump over here and there we go, he's now, I was gonna push him back in, but now he's dead. So if this skeleton can see me through this block, so if I kind of nudge over, he's already ready to hit me because he can detect me through these blocks. But again, remember, you can use your shields to block all of that damage from arrows. That's why they're important. And another thing I want to mention, Jeb said he's going to make shields a bit stronger and a little more durable because they do run out really quick. If I block a lot of these arrows, you can see at the bottom right, my shield health goes down real fast and it will break very easily. But yeah, mobs can now kind of detect you through walls again, which I don't know if that's the best thing. I like that spiders had that unique feature of seeing through walls, almost like that was a special thing of having 8 eyes. But yeah, mobs will detect you now, so they are a bit tougher. And also, if you remember the mob heads, if you wear them, you can kind of disguise yourself from creepers, skeletons, and zombies. And they buffed that a bit where you could get really, really close to them. Now it's only 50% of their view distance, so I could get a lot closer to this guy than before. So he doesn't see me yet, but if I was to take this skeleton head off, he'd probably, yep, he sees me. And we got a shield, okay. But yeah, you can use those mob skulls. They're just not as good as they were in the previous snapshot, but still, you can get 50% closer than you used to. So that's a nice little addition to having those skulls. Let's get away from that skeleton. So Endermen are quite a bit tougher now. They still have a lot of improvements to work on with these guys, but you'll notice this guy might kill me. If I look at him, he's gonna run very, very quickly towards me. They are a lot faster now. And combined with another mechanic, you can see one more good hit and he'll have me. Yep, there we go. I'm dead. So yeah, Endermen, they do move a bit more predictably now, and they also make their noise more commonly when you stare at them, and whoa, jeez. Now, there's still a few bugs I think they need to fix. Like, they're supposed to not move at you unless you stop staring at them, and they've got a few other issues thanks to them kind of adopting the AI of some of the other mobs, but hopefully they'll fix those. Now, you probably noticed that the Endermen were doing a ton of damage to me, and that is because armor has been changed once again. So a good thing is that that durability degradation from one of the previous snapshots has removed. That was the thing that made it where the more damaged your armor became, it protected you less. Now, there's still a little bit of it right now, but Jeb mentioned they're going to remove it entirely because they want to use attributes with armor now instead. And that's actually really nice because you could summon in a piece of armor with more armor value than it normally has and make some better custom equipment. Now, the big controversial thing, though, is that armor defense is a lot different now, so I'm going to put just the full diamond on here, and you guys will see it does not protect as much as it did before. This is one of the things that's going to make the game a lot tougher. So I'm just going to walk in, and you'll see how much damage this guy does to me. If he notices me, he's thinking thoughts. So he doesn't do too much. I still have full diamond, but you can see he's doing a bit more than he normally would. And if we did summon in something like an Enderman, you can see, again, he does a ton of damage to me. Now, armor is only able to protect 66%. It reduces 66% of damage instead of 80% in the previous versions of the game. So this Enderman is just going to lay into me and hit me a bunch of times and kill me. And I remember I have full diamond on. This normally would protect a lot of damage from hits, but the Enderman is able to do a lot more. Now, the reason for this is because they felt the game was too easy. And if you look at the stats, they actually, I agree with them on this, because if you have full diamond, especially with enchantments like protection and things, most enemies can't touch you. If you can get killed by something like an Enderman in a few hits, it's still scary, but if it takes like 7, 8, 9, 10 hits, it keeps going up, the better protection you have, then nothing in the game can really touch you with full diamond armor. So they wanted to balance that out a bit, and this is another thing that's going to affect PvP a lot. Armor is not going to be quite as important because it doesn't protect you as much, and people that have, you know, combat skills instead of just better equipment will probably do better in PvP. So as a comparison, in the old version of the game, Endermen usually do 5 hearts of damage when you are, you know, just fighting them without armor. But if you had armor on in the old version of the game, it would take 10 hits to kill you. That's a lot of hits for such a strong attack. That's how much diamond protected you. But now it only takes 4 hits, and you can see he was able to slay me very easily there. So yeah, Endermen are a lot more scary, and most other enemies are as well. This is a thing that Jeb talked about. He's trying to rebalance armor a lot, and he mentioned Guardians in the last update do magic damage because otherwise they wouldn't really do much damage at all with the way that armor works. Some attacks with the old version of armor, if you had a full suit of diamond armor and something was only doing a little bit of damage to you, it could take up to 100 hits to kill you, and that's insane. It's just armor, you know, it shouldn't make you invincible, but it should protect you a lot. So armor still has a big importance, it's just not as strong as it used to be. A good thing though is weak attacks, like things that only do a half a heart, or a heart and a half or so, don't really count for much on your armor is going to be stronger to very weak hits. So you still won't take much damage. If something's not doing much damage to you normally, then it wouldn't do that much with you with armor on. It'll pretty much negate that. But as it goes up, it's not going to protect you as much as it used to. And on top of this, sharpness and protection have now been nerfed quite a bit as well. Sharpness used to add a good amount of damage. It was 1.25 per level that it added on to how much damage it does, and now it's gone down to 1, and then as it goes up in levels it'll do 1.5, 2.0, so it does a little bit less damage if you have a sharpness enchantment, and the same with protection, where it will not protect you from quite as much. So yeah, all around, it's going to be tougher to survive in Minecraft, especially in the normal, you know, survival mode, and it's also going to make PvP a little bit more focused on skill of combat instead of equipment and being able to get the best enchants and stuff like that. So again, this is another set of controversial changes, but we'll see. They are still, you know, tweaking everything. They're looking for feedback. Jeb had a big Reddit thread about armor and suggestions that people were replying to, so we'll see. They're going to keep adjusting this stuff until they find a good balance. Now, a few other things. If you were not able to use commands, you would not be able to place command, or you could still place command blocks in old versions, but now if you're not able to use commands, it will not let you use command blocks in this version to make sure people can't, you know, secretly grab a command block for whatever reason and place it. And then also, they have apparently optimized memory usage when you're connected to a server, so the game should run quite a bit better on servers in 1.9. Thank you guys again for watching. As always, I appreciate you watching. I know a lot of this stuff is probably not going to please most players, but they are working on it, and I hope you'll bear with the developers and bear with me, and we'll try out 1.9 and see how it goes. We've got a while of development time and a lot of new features ahead, so that will hopefully be happy as a, you know, an update for most players. I hope most people will be happy with it in the end. Thanks again for watching. Please leave a thumbs up or a like if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time for more Minecraft Snapshot updates. Getting kind of knocked back a little bit when I run into this beautiful bovine here.